Hello, magnificent beings. This is Eva Gregory. I just want to say welcome to all of you who are new to the community, as well as those of you who have been in here for a while. I'm excited to be with you today because we are going to talk about how to attract and convert high-end clients through your copy, content, and communications. And it's going to be a concept that I don't think most people think of when you're thinking about attracting your high-end clients. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited as well. So we're going to talk about your divine client spectrum. We're going to talk about what that is. This is going to completely shift the way you've been taught to think about your divine client avatar and how you market to them. And then I'm going to show you how to end the pattern of attracting the wrong clients. We're going to talk about what your high-end clients are looking for when they're looking to invest in a coach or a healer, holistic practitioner, an expert. And this today, I do believe, is going to turn the way you think upside down when it comes to thinking about your clients and creating copy and content, whether that's for your sales pages, your webinars, your email campaigns, your Facebook ads, doesn't matter. It's going to turn the way you think upside down when it comes to thinking about your clients and creating copy and content. Okay, so if you're ready to up-level yourself, up-level your business and your clients, put "I'm ready" in the comments, whether you're here live or whether you're on you're ready to elevate you're ready to work with that next level of client, and you're ready to up level yourself. Maybe your current divine client is one you chose out of fear. Maybe it was out of a feeling of imposter syndrome. Or maybe it was that you didn't feel qualified to work with high level clients. Or maybe you never really thought about who your divine client would be. And so you just took whoever came along and you just accepted whatever you got. I know a lot of common statements that I hear from so many, and tell me if you can relate to this, is I only seem to attract newbies. I only seem to attract newbies or beginners, or the people that I attract don't have money. That's a common one that I hear. Or this is just what my people can afford. I hear that one a lot. It's kind of the same thing. Or our target market can't afford higher ticket premium offers. Or it might be something like it's just easier to settle for working with these kinds of clients than it would be to attract high-end clients. Okay, so if these are some of the things that you've been thinking, or you have something, maybe it's a little different, but it's kind of along those lines, I really want to blow this out of the water for you here today. Okay, so before we start talking about attracting your high-end clients, I want to give you this new concept that I call the divine client spectrum. Okay, the divine client spectrum. This is going to help you in your transition to attract and work with high-end clients. But before we do that, before you can focus on creating your copy or your content to attract high-end clients, you've got to define who is on your divine client spectrum. And you want to lay that out. So right now, you might be thinking there aren't any clients in your audience who would enroll in a high-ticket premium offer. And in order to attract high-end clients, you're going to have to start from scratch. You will not. Or maybe you think you have 3 or 4 different client avatars. I'm going to show you how that might not be the case. And I want to propose that what you have actually is a client spectrum. You think you have 3 different client avatars, but what you actually have is a client spectrum. And you want to know the secret to targeting high-end clients who have the resources to invest in your premium offers. Okay, so I want to talk about this. So let me know in the comments, how many of you were taught about the idea of choosing a client avatar? And so in choosing a client avatar, you think of these as separate types of people that you work with, or separate types of people that you attract. So in your mind, you think you work with all these different types of clients. And let's say you work with solopreneurs, freelancers, and you work with people who are in business together, partners. Or you might work with people who are heading to 7 figures and they're building their teams, okay? Or maybe you work with folks who want to be speakers. Let's use that as an example. So you work with people who are already speakers, and you work with speakers that are wanting to speak nationally, and maybe you're working with speakers who are just getting started. So you've got these different client avatars, right? Well, if you consider it as being on the client spectrum, you'll see that these are actually one divine client avatar, all right? One divine client avatar rather than 4 to 5 different client avatars. So actually, if you think about it, it's one divine client avatar. They just happen to be at different stages in their ultimate journey. Okay, I hope you guys are getting this. They're still your divine client, right? So a client spectrum looks like where we take random client avatars. All right, so you could say, well, I work with newbie speakers, and I work with people who speak in corporate, and I work with people who are ready to go speak nationally, and these are the random client avatars. Okay, now we want to take those and we're going to put them onto the spectrum from the beginner to the more advanced, because they're at different phases or stages or levels. That's all, but they're still all your divine client avatar. Okay, so if you put them on the spectrum, you can see that, okay, it actually is this one type of person who is at different stages on their path. Is this making sense, you guys? Let me know. Okay, are your minds blown yet that it's actually the same, but it's on a spectrum? Because I'm going to tell you how to use this spectrum to be attracting your high-end clients. Okay, but they're not different people. They're not different people. They're just at different stages on their journey that you help your clients get to. Okay? You help your clients get through the whole journey, but they just happen to be at different stages. So right now you might be thinking, oh my God, I've got to create 4 different programs for them. I've got to have 4 different webinars and 4 different funnels. You don't. Okay? You still have one divine client avatar. And this is what it's going to look like on the spectrum, okay? The most beginner version, and this is, let's say that it's coaches, right? Let's just say you work with coaches. An example, the most beginner version would be like that, which would be, I call stage 1, okay? Stage 1 is they're still working their 9 to 5 job, but they're starting their coaching business as a side hustle. That's stage 1. And then that person will grow into a full-time coach, okay, or it could be a freelancer of some kind, if not coaches. But now they've got a full-time business. They're a solopreneur. They're at stage 2, okay? It's still your divine client avatar, all right? And then that person grows into a solopreneur working with a virtual assistant or a couple of assistants, okay? That's stage 3. Or maybe they grow their business into a 7-figure business, and now they've got team members. And eventually they become the CEO with full-time employees on salary, okay? So you can see it's the certain kind of client. It's a coach wanting to grow their business in this case. And there are different stages of their journey, okay? That's the client spectrum. And this goes for any type of client. So I want you to think about the clients that you're serving right now and think about where they are. Are they beginning? Are they middle? Are they advanced? Are they seasoned? Like, where are they on that spectrum for you? So if you let me know in the chat, who do you work for? Who do you work with as clients? Okay. So let's just take to something on a spiritual journey as an example. So it could be people who are on a spiritual journey from a beginner, just learning about law of attraction as an example, to now they're learning how to access their inner guidance. Let's do it this way. So now they're accessing their inner guidance. They're learning how to apply that in their day-to-day lives. or in their business. So there's the spectrum. So on your spectrum, there is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. Okay. Now you might have only 3 stages for your clients. You might have 10. I don't know. Usually it's less than that. But whatever it is, it's perfect for you. But in this example, it goes from stage 1 to stage 5, right? But they're all on the same path because they're all moving in the same direction. Even if they're starting at different places on your spectrum, okay? They're at different stages. I hope this is making sense. But they're all looking in the direction of the ultimate stage that they want to eventually reach, okay? They might be starting at stage 1. They might be starting at stage 2. They might be starting at stage 3, but they all want to get to stage 5, all right? Stage 1 clients want to eventually be stage 5 clients, all right? They want to grow to stage 5 in whatever it is that you do in your business. And something that you've got to understand in all of this, none of us want to be at the newbie stage, okay? Even the newbies don't want to be at the newbie stage. And it is what it is at the moment, but they are aspiring to greater things. They want to be at a higher stage. No one wants to feel like they're in the newbie pool, not even the newbies. You got this? Got this? I hope so. Beginners don't want to be in a group of beginners and other novices, and especially the stage 5 folks. They don't want to be in a group of beginners. They won't even think about it, okay? But even those in stage 1 who should be there don't want to hang out there, not for long, and nobody does psychologically. But all of your clients on your client spectrum are on the same trajectory. You get this? This is what they have in common. They're all on the same trajectory. They all want the same ultimate result, even if they're starting at different stages on the spectrum, all right? But stage 1 clients want to be stage 5 clients. Another thing too, nobody wants to be at the beginner stage, right? So regardless of where they are, just saying this again, so I lock this in with for you, they're aspiring to greater things. They're all aspiring to be at the higher stages, okay? This is really important for you to get, okay? Think about high school. We've got freshmen and we've got seniors. Freshmen are aspiring to be seniors, but seniors are not aspiring to be freshmen, right? Make sense? And there's also something I just want to make sure that you're clear on here. This has nothing to do with somebody's value as a person. That's not what we're talking about here. We're not saying beginners are less than more advanced folks. Freshmen are not less than seniors. Seniors are not better than freshmen. They're just at different stages on their path, right? Hope this makes sense. So on your client spectrum, those at stage 1 are not less than those that are at stage 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. They're all on your divine client spectrum, and they're just at different stages of their journey. All right, that's it. This is just a way for us to look at where they are on their path when you're talking to them. That's what we're trying to get down to. Where are they in their mastery or their skill level, or where are they in their journey from beginner to intermediate to advanced, right? But they're all working towards becoming stage 5. So on your divine client spectrum, let's say stage 5 is your divine high-end client. This is your dream client. And when you're working with these clients, you love it. It feels easy. It doesn't ever feel like work when you're working with them. They might challenge you. You challenge them. It's like this beautiful dance that you have together. Okay. And this can apply to different things. So, for example, let's say you work with photographers. Stage 1 might be the hobby photographer who becomes a stage 2 professional photographer working for somebody else. Then eventually at stage 3, they go out on their own as a freelance photographer. And then in stage 4, they start their own photography business. And then they move to stage 5, where they're actually hiring other photographers to work for them. Okay, so that's a client spectrum of where your clients are going, but your clients are still photographers. They're just at different stages. All right, I hope this is making sense. All right, another example would be a brand new coach who, that's stage one, who becomes an established coach under 6 figures, who then stage 3 becomes a seasoned 6-figure coach with a team of contractors. Stage 4, multiple 6-figure coach with a full-time team. Stage 5 would be somebody who scaled to 7 figures and they have full-time employees. Okay, so are you guys starting to see what I'm talking about here when I'm talking about the spectrum? It's like you're starting to see how you might have looked at this as you having 5 different client avatars when actually you have the same avatar. They just happen to be at different stages on their journey. Okay, they're just at different steps on your client spectrum. They're not wholly different people. Okay, they are not completely different people. It's one type of person on a journey toward their ultimate goal, and your divine high-end client is the one who's at the highest stage, or the highest stage, the top 2. Okay, those are your high-end clients. And by the way, high-end clients are not defined as high-end clients because they can afford to work with you. Okay, this is not the definition of a high-end client. We don't just accept anyone who can afford to work with us. These could be people who have the money to invest with you, but there's got to be a lot more to it than that. It doesn't mean just they have the funding and the resources. There's got to be other things that come in as pieces of the puzzle. They might not want to do the work. They might not have values that are aligned with yours. They might not be people that want to take responsibility for their own results. In other words, it's not just about the money. You want to define and get very clear who your high-end clients are. What are the skills and attributes, more importantly, the characteristics of your high-end clients? Mine are those whose values are in alignment with mine, for sure. My high-end clients take responsibility for their results. All right. And your clients value, your high-end clients value what you offer because it's something they don't yet have, even if they are highly successful in other areas. All right. That's why they're coming to you. Even if they are more successful than you are in certain areas, they're not as successful as the piece that they're coming to you to get help from. You get this? So I want you to get your mind around, I'll talk about this in a minute, but really getting your mind around the fact that you can work with people who are at different levels than you. All right, because you have what you bring to the table as your genius, and that's what they're looking for. That's why they're coming to you, regardless of how successful they might be in other areas in their life. They're coming to you for what you have to offer, okay, that they don't have. All right, get this? I hope so. So your expertise is important to them because they see you as the one who can help them. And you want to see yourself in that way too. I'll tell you, just as an example, I have worked with several well-known people, one specifically a very well-known author and a very well-known actress. Okay. And believe me, they are way, way, way more successful than I am in a lot of different areas of their lives. Does that mean that I'm not qualified to work with them? Absolutely not, because they came to me for help in an area that I have a genius in that they don't. Okay. We all have our zones of genius, as do you. And so in these cases, one was unfulfilled spiritually. In one case, they were struggling emotionally because they're so well known and they're on a speaking circuit and they're stretched with everything they've got on their plate. All the expectations others had on them is coming out, and they feel like everybody just wants a piece of me, right? Way out of balance in their life, very unhappy, very disconnected. And yet you look and they are extremely successful, rightfully so, and they are, okay. But the good news is I didn't have to be as successful in the areas they're successful in, and you don't have to be as successful as your high-end clients in the areas they are successful in. You just have to be great at what you do, okay? Makes sense? Okay. Or maybe they've achieved some level of mastery and they're looking to get to that next level with a mentor who can meet them and who can challenge them. You know, someone who's traversed the trail they're on that can cut years of the learning curve off of their journey. And here's the thing. I hope you get this. This is why I'm here and as an advocate for working with high-end clients. There are tons and tons and tons of people creating programs and content for newbies, content for beginners in almost any topic you can think of. All right. Almost no one is focused on the folks at the top of their market. And those are the ones they're looking for, a coach or a mentor or an advisor or a healer, an expert to work with. So the widest gap in the market is always at the top. You've heard that old adage, it's lonely at the top. Well, that's the widest gap in the market as well. And there are very few people in just about any industry who are offering programs or services to support the high-end clients in your niche. Okay? But you can. And so you have a lot of folks targeting the same beginners market. And they're offering many of the same things, and they all sound the same. There's not a whole lot of differentiation. I understand the thinking that says, but there are a lot more folks at the lower end of the scale, at the earlier stages. But what are you setting yourself up for? Okay, are you going to go for volume and the lower end with low end offers? Or are you going to go for the high end clients who want the high end support and are willing to pay you handsomely for it? Okay, when you work with folks at the high end, you don't need volumes and numbers. That's one of the great things about it. You don't need lots and lots of clients in order to create not only a multiple six, but even a 7-figure business. But it's up to you where you want to play. Do you want to play at the lower end where there are thousands of others who are serving the same market? Or do you want to work at the higher end where there are very few being served at the highest level? So let's say there's someone who wants deeper mastery of their spiritual path. I know a lot of you do a lot of spiritual work in this community. So think of all the places you can find information on how to meditate. All you got to do is go to YouTube, right? There's tens of thousands of videos on how to meditate. But there are very few who are teaching folks how to master their inner guidance and their connection to source. Or it could be some other spiritual practice, right? There are lots of folks out there that are looking for spiritual teachers and mentors to work with them at that highest level so that they can master this and in their lives. Got it? Another example would be podcasters. So you might have the amateur podcasters and then you have the professional podcasters. The gap is at the top, okay? Those experienced, advanced clients are looking for that next level experience with a program or a coach or a mentor who can support them at that stage. They don't want to be with the beginners. They don't want to be at the kids' table. None of us want to be at the kids' table, right? Even the kids. They want to be at the adult table, right? And so if your messaging is you're promoting and you're working with those that are the starters in the stages of your client spectrum, then those clients who are looking for that next level experience are ignoring everything that's happening, all the content, the communication, the messages, the Facebook Lives, all of the stuff that is happening at the lower levels, okay? That's happening at stage 4, 3, 2, and 1, if they're 5. You got this? So I want to walk you through what's been holding you back from attracting high-end clients and show you how to fix this. It's not that hard to fix. It will take confidence for you to step outside your comfort zone, but you can definitely do this. And I want to give you some confidence around that right now, okay? By the end of this session today, I really want you feeling strong and confident and empowered to claim your divine high-end client and to claim them unapologetically. Not from a place of fear, not from a place of imposter syndrome, not from a place of why would they want to work for me, that kind of thing. I want you to be loud and proud about who you want to work with and claim them because it lights up your soul. That's why you want to claim it. And that's who you want to serve and support. That's reason enough. Okay. So I want to take away some of the limiting beliefs you might be holding about working with high-end clients and start to replace them, like beliefs like I'm not successful enough to attract high-end clients. Okay. You are. Beliefs like I don't have any high-end clients in my audience. You do. You do. Beliefs like my programs and services are why I don't attract high-end clients. That is fixable, okay? Hello, Facebook user on StreamYard. If you didn't click at the top, I can't see who this is, but I will go back and check later. I'll be checking the comments anyway, because I'll come back and respond to you guys, whether you're on here live or you are on the replay. So be sure you're commenting. Anyway, oh, hey, great. Marie, good to see you. Awesome. Nice to have a name. Okay. So this takes confidence to step outside your comfort zone, okay? But it's doable. That's what I want you to get. So if you believe that you only have beginners or stage 1 clients in your audience, because you have that belief, what do? You create more content for beginners, stage 1 content. You create more copy, more social media posts, more live streams for those in stage 1, the beginners, because you believe that's who is in your audience, right? And so you start putting out content like how to start a business for free, or how to land your first client with no experience, or how to get your first 50 followers on Facebook, or you might offer introduction to meditation. And what does all of this do? It attracts more and more beginners. It attracts more stage 1 clients in your audience through that copy, content, and communications that you're posting and that you're positioning and that you're putting out there, okay? And then what do? You reinforce the limiting belief by complaining that my audience is only made up of beginners who don't invest. They're not ready for the high-end program, the premium offer. And so therefore I can't offer a program to the clients that I really want to work with, because that's not who's in my audience. And it becomes this endless loop, right? Well, it's not true. It doesn't serve you or your high-end clients who could be benefiting from working with you when you're caught up in that endless loop. You get what's happening here? I hope this is making sense, okay? Let me know in the comments. All right. I hope you can see how this does not serve you or your high-end client who could benefit from working with you when you're caught up in that kind of a loop. 2 businesses. Academy has 3 tiers, great, and a VIP package. Okay, those could still be part of the stages. Awesome. Yes, thank you. Love getting the feedback. It does make sense. Okay, good, because I really want you guys to get this. It's going to change everything for you and who you start attracting into your business, okay? So if you're complaining that nobody in your audience is ready to invest, and you keep sharing content and sales copy and webinar copy and email campaign copy and ad copy and live streams and social media posts geared towards the beginners, and then you complain that no high-end clients are signing up, so therefore there must not be there, you've created that. You've created it. But we're going to fix that. We're going to fix it right now. And you're not alone in this. I used to do it too. We do what we know to do, right? And we've all been down this road. So how do I find my high-end clients? Well, people want to know, how do you start? What do you target in your ad settings to attract high-end clients? Where do I find them? Here's the thing. There is no target secret that you're missing. Here's the big reveal. You ready? This is a writer downer. There is no secret targeting to find and attract your high-end clients who have the money to invest and work with you, because that's not how it works. Here's the secret. You want to be front and center to everyone on your divine client spectrum. Okay? You want to be front and center to everyone from stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but you only speak to your high-end client. You only speak to their dreams, their desires, their challenges, their issues. Got this? But you'll be seen by your entire client spectrum, even though you're only going to speak to the highest level. All right? Because in what they're interested in, and what they want, and what they need, and what they care about. All right? So I hope that this is making sense. The middle package, yes, okay. Well, I hope that this will start to change a few things for you today, because if you're seeing, and whenever you're creating content, your posts, your copy, your ads. When you create it for a certain stage of your client in your client spectrum, Whatever stage you've created that for, it means you're excluding everyone above that stage. Okay? So anyone at the higher stages, you are excluding. So if you're speaking to someone on the lower end of your spectrum, your high-end clients at the higher end of the spectrum, they're tune out and click away. They tune out and click away. They're there. It's not that they're not there. It's just you're not speaking to them. So when you create your copy and your content, your podcast episodes, your live streams, your sales copy, your ad copy, social media posts, I mean, everything. You're always creating content for somebody on your client spectrum, right? So any piece of content you put out, any piece of content, whether it's a social media post, an Instagram post, a caption, doesn't matter. Anything you put out that is for someone at one level on your spectrum, it automatically excludes everyone above that stage in your client spectrum. So if your copy and your content is targeting people at stage 1 or stage 2, everyone at stage 3, 4, and 5 are tuning out. They're tuning out and they're clicking away. They assume, based on the messaging that you're providing, that you can't help them, even though you can. You absolutely can. You're qualified to. Don't let your imposter syndrome take over here. You can help them, but you're literally making it look like you can't, because you're always sharing content and copy and communicating messages that don't align with the higher stages of your client spectrum, okay? So let's say that you put out a live stream and social media posts, and the topic is really speaking to stage 2 in your client topics, okay? Their client spectrum. So maybe it's how to build an email list. Well, that's something that might be of interest to a coach at stage 1 or 2, but it excludes everyone above that stage who already knows how to build an email list, okay? They're going to tune out. It's irrelevant to them. They already have an email list of loyal followers, and that's continuing to grow. Or they've already hired a VA, so this is irrelevant to them, and they tune out. Every time you put out more content towards that stage 1 or stage 2 client, these at stage 3, 4, and 5 are just going to click away. If you create a social media post or you promote a webinar and you're targeting stage 4 client, okay, that's better, because if it's relevant to stage 4, you're going to have stage 1, 2, and 3 also interested, because that's what they're interested to get to. You get this? They're all on the same trajectory, but it's irrelevant to anyone above stage 4. So your stage 5 clients are not even going to realize that you could help them, and then they tune out. They assume, based on the content and the copy you put out, that you don't work with people at their level. You only work with beginners. That's fine if that's what you want, if that's the people you want to work with, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, okay? But if you're wanting to speak to the others, then you've got to include them, okay? And you definitely, guys, you definitely want to love your beginners, even if you're speaking to the, let's say your stage 5 clients, because they will grow into your stage 5 clients over time. They're on the path and they want to be looking at where you can take them, and we want to nurture them. All right, we want to nurture them on their journey, even though they're not the stage 5 client yet. But when you're only speaking to those in the lower stages of the client spectrum, then you're only attracting those at the beginner side of your spectrum, and you're excluding those that you'd really love to also be working with, okay? Now, here is the amazing, awesome news about this. Your client spectrum is just one way. It's a one-way trajectory. This is so cool. I hope you guys are getting this. I'm saying it more than once because I want it to land. They're all headed in the same direction. So when you create content for your stage 5 high-end client, every other stage in the spectrum are included. They're not excluded. If you're talking stage 1 and 2, everything above, they're excluded. You talk to stage 5, everybody is included. Got it? The content is relevant to everyone. They're inspired. It's aspirational to them. It's where they're headed if they're not there yet. So it is of interest to them. They care. And all these other stages on your client spectrum are going to be attracted to you based on the copy and the content that you create for that stage 5 high-end client, right? Making sense? But your high-end client won't be attracted to content that's created for a stage 1, okay? And yes, the language that attracts the high-level clients, I'm going to show you some examples in just a minute. Great question. Yes, I see the focus on the higher level so that the content will be relevant to all stages. Yes, 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 yes. Awesome, okay? So the secret is to attract the entire client spectrum. So how do we attract and capture and enroll the entire client spectrum? Oh my gosh. Okay, this is it. I keep saying it. The secret is to create stage 5 content for your high-end clients, and then you attract and convert clients across the entire stage, or the entire client spectrum. Okay, so stage 5, highest level content and copy for your divine high-end clients. And everyone on the other stages of the spectrum are paying attention because they're interested and they're inspired and they're excited and they're learning. They're all learning, okay? And it doesn't matter if they're at stage 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It could be anywhere on the spectrum, but you are attracting those that are the most dedicated and the most resourceful ones because they see themselves becoming that top stage 5 client. They already know that's where they're headed, and they want to be surrounded by others that are stage 5 as well, right? No one wants to be at the kids' table, including the kids, right? They want to be with the stage 5 clients. So what this means is you never miss out on anyone who could be a perfect client for you, even if they're starting out, even though you're going to be speaking to the stage 5 clients, all right? This is not unusual. When somebody comes to us and maybe they don't meet the requirements for something for stage 5, oh my gosh, but they're on fire, they're determined, they're passionate, they've got a big vision for where they're going. And in those cases, I don't care if they're at stage 2 or 3. I know they've got what it takes to be a stage 5 client. And so what are you doing in that case? You're attracting the best beginners. You get this? You're attracting the best beginners who are so excited because they see themselves as getting to stage 5 on your spectrum. Okay? So stage 5 content created specifically for your high-end stage 5 clients will attract everyone from stage 1, 2, 3, and 4 who aspire to reach stage 5. Okay. Stage 1 clients can be inspired by stage 5. They can learn from stage 5. But a stage 5 client cannot relate to, aspire, or learn from a stage 1 client. Got this? It's a one-way trajectory. One-way trajectory. So a stage 1 client can see a stage 5 client and be excited and be inspired, and the content you put out for stage 5 clients, they're going to learn from. Oh my gosh, and cut a lot of their learning curve off because they're getting it early. And that's what they want. But a stage 5 client is never going to be inspired by a stage 1 client. They're not aspiring to be a stage 1 client. They're way, way past that stage. That's why it's so important for you to always be speaking to your divine high-end clients at the highest stage, because that's what inspires and excites them. And that's what captures the attention of the entire client spectrum at every stage. And you can still enroll clients at any stage, by the way. We're speaking to the high-end clients, we're attracting high-end clients to our premium offers, and you can still enroll clients at any stage. You're just going to get the best of those because of the quality and the caliber of the content that you're sharing at stage 5, okay? Clients across they want all stages. They want to be with people who are going to inspire them and to challenge them to be better and to lift them up to that next level. That's what you want to be doing. And I know I want to be in the room with people who are doing way bigger things than I am, who are way ahead of me. I know one of my mentors is at 9 figures in her business, on the way to 10. The other one's at 8. Okay. I'm not there yet, but that's who I want to be hanging out with. That's the trajectory I want to be on. Right. So I want to be pulled up to that. Speak to your stage 5 clients applies to all of your copy and content. I really want you to get this. Always speak to stage 5. Your copy, your content, your communications, your positioning, your headlines on your ads and sales copy, what you teach in your webinars, your challenges, if you guys do challenges, your podcast interviews, if you do interviews, your videos, your blog posts. Just basically think everything high-end client, stage 5 client, right? And everything that you do, absolutely everything. And I've got a challenge for each of you right now. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is effective immediately, or starting tomorrow. Anyway, effective basically immediately. You're only going to speak to your divine high-end client on your client spectrum. Whatever that stage is, you might only have 3 stages, but it's always going to be the top stage. You're only going to speak in your copy, your content, and your communications, your trainings, your webinars, your Facebook Lives. You're only going to speak to that top stage client. So if you accept this mission, let me know, whether you're on live or you're on the replay. Either way counts. I always come back and want to respond to all of these comments. Just a reminder of that. But if you are in, put stage 5 only in the comments. Stage 5 only, if you're ready to accept my little challenge for you. Because you've got all these different people in your audience who are at different stages on there, and intermingled in all of them are your high-end clients. But you may not know it based on what you've been putting in there. And by the way, even when you start posting high-end client communications and education and all of that, high-end clients are not necessarily loud. Like, they're very quietly in the background, but they're watching. They know who you are. They like what you represent. They like your expertise. And if you haven't been, they've been waiting for you to share content that's relevant to them, and to say something that's relevant to them, right? They're hoping that you do. And here's the thing. Once you begin sharing stage 5 content and copy, your high-end clients will step forward. They will be attracted now to what you're sharing, because you're now sharing copy and content that applies to them. So sharing stage 5 content in your email campaign, social media, sales pages, ads, podcasts, live streams, webinars, everywhere, you're going to start to attract the high-end clients. They've been in your audience, but they haven't spoken up because you haven't been speaking to them, okay? You'll also notice others in your audience at the earlier stages on your client spectrum are going to be very active, and they're going to be learning from you as well. They're going to see your content, they're going to respond to it, and a lot of them will be asking questions that might be more beginner questions, and the tendency, you can answer their questions. I would do that in a heartbeat. But the tendency is going to be to want to create content specific to them. Don't do that. Answer their questions. But the cool thing is, the content that you're now providing for your high-end client is relevant to these who are at those lower stages. And when you stay consistent with the content geared towards the high-end clients, your high-end clients will start to show up. All right. I've had clients, just as an example, who have never responded, never played in they signed up for my 5-day challenges, which I do from time to time. And one did not even attend, not one thing of the challenge, didn't listen to anything. But when I made my offer, she private messaged me on Facebook. She said, "Hey, I saw your offer. Where do I sign up?" That's a high-end client. Now, not all of them do. There will be high-end clients that also interact, but I'm saying that a lot of times they don't. They're just quietly in the background until your offer is made or the door gets open. I did the same thing with one of my mentors. I watched a pre-recorded webinar, and I paid $25,000, and I signed up without talking to a single soul. Never interacted with anybody live, never was on a live thing. It was a pre-recorded webinar, and I signed up. So, and that depends on the content. See, this is why your content is so important. So what type of copy and content and communications will attract your high-end clients? Who are those high-end clients? Where are they? What copy, content, and communications is going to attract them? One thing you have to understand, and this is going to start to speak to the question about the language for your high-end clients, is you got to understand that your high-end clients are going to have different challenges or concerns or issues, or even what they're inspiring to. Let's just say that they've become great at a certain level of something. It's not about a challenge, but they want to master something. They're going to have different concerns. Okay. They are successful in several areas of their life. They're missing the thing that you do. They're missing the thing that you teach. They've got their own gifts and talents, and they've got their own success, and they're great at their zones of genius. But they don't have your gifts and talents or your zone of genius. Okay. That's why they're attracted to you. It's why they need you. So I'm going to give you some examples just to kind of get your brain thinking about your own clients, what a high-level client, what that concern would be like that might be different from the beginners. It would be things like somebody thinking, wow, I just got invited to go on tour. I need a personal trainer to travel with me. That's a high-end client. Versus, wow, I've just been invited to go on tour. I'm just trying to think of what would a beginner one be. And so I hope there's a gym everywhere I go. All right. So you can see that maybe for one level of client, you would be telling them how to find the best gyms or the hotels with the best gyms. A high-end client, you're going to be showing them how to find the best personal trainer to take with them. Do you get the difference? I hope this is making sense. Another high-end client problem would be, I have all this excess cash to invest in crypto and I have no idea what to invest in. Versus the importance of opening up a savings account. You get the difference? So you start thinking of what these things might be for your clients on the high end. Okay. I have created a highly successful business and yet I can't seem to find the love of my life. Right. Or I just got a huge advance to be a keynote speaker and I need a speaking coach to help me with my speech and delivery. Okay. Now, the thing to remember too about high-end clients, they value time more than money. So if that's what you do is going to help them that way, that's going to be great. The other thing you've got to remember is high-end clients are not necessarily going to spend hours and hours watching free content or webinars or YouTube videos, even though you're going to be putting content out that speaks to them, but they are necessarily going to spend hours watching. But when they are watching you, they want to know that you're speaking to them. Okay. And they also want to find a solution with one person who can provide this all-encompassing solution and not have to work with 3 or 4 different programs and 3 or 4 different courses or 3 or 4 different coaches or mentors to get what they need. And they will not invest in something that seems cheap. So if you think, if I cut my price, maybe I can get more people, you're going to find that's not true. And let me tell you something about this, wanting to undercharge. There is only so low you can go before you hit zero. All right. But there's no limit to where you can go when you're looking at what you can offer in high value. Okay. So if you're undercharging for your programs and services, you are not sending the message that what you have is quality, and you don't want to be seen as a commodity. You are changing freaking lives. So you do not want to be seen as a commodity and in there with others that are hundreds and hundreds of others who are offering similar things, right? That will repel high-end clients, not attract them. So that means that you need to master your money mindset in order to attract the high-end clients, and you cannot undercharge for the caliber of work that you do. And that's why we will be having Money Mindset Facebook Lives. In fact, the first one next month will be on Money Mindset, the training we have that first Wednesday of the month. So that's coming in a couple of weeks. Having the right mindset is going to go a long way to attracting high-end clients. Having the right pricing is going to go a long way to attracting the high-end clients. Because if you're undercharging, you are going to repel them. I see a lot of time where there's this mismatch where someone is saying, this is what I can do for you and the results I can get you. It's like, here's the Rolls Royce. And by the way, I'm going to sell it to you for the price of a bicycle. Huge energetic discount. A discount, well, that too, but it's a disconnect, right? And they feel that it's like, ooh, there's something not quite right here. And so they don't buy into that, okay? So you really want to match the caliber of what you're doing. So we'll be talking about money mindset next month. All of your content, though, speaks directly to them. All of your messaging, your copy, your ads, everything speaks directly to them. That's how they know you are the one for them. So now I'm going to walk you through right now. I'm going to give you some example topics of content things geared to high-end clients versus low-end clients. I don't want to say high and low end. Like, that's not a judgment call. Remember, this is not about freshmen are not better than seniors. Seniors are not better than freshmen, right? It's just the trajectory they are on. So a high-end client concern would be business is booming, so I need to hire fast, but I don't know where to find quality people, okay? Now, if you would put content out there and your content was all about how to hire your first intern for free, you are not speaking to that high-end client, right? That is not geared towards a high-end client. But if you had topics like how to find, interview, and assess quality personnel in record time, now you're speaking to them. How to attract and retain top talent, now you're speaking to them. Out-of-the-box recruiting strategies in a competitive labor market, that might attract them. But they're not going to want to know about how to hire their first intern for free. You got the difference? You guys starting to get it? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes. So, yeah, that's another, I'm going to come back and read these comments because what you guys are giving me some more stuff to talk about in other trainings. And I'll come back and answer your questions too if I don't hear. Okay. So what's another example I can give you? Okay. So here's one. My company, and these I'm pulling from real clients. Okay. So you get some ideas. My company's been named one of the Inc. 500's fastest growing companies 3 years in a row. My books are New York Times #1 bestsellers, but I have no love life. Okay. So if you're talking to the stage 1 people, you might be how to navigate the online dating world. Let's say you're a relationship coach. That is not speaking to someone who is so well accomplished in all these areas and enough. They're not looking to navigate the online dating world. A different topic would be more like how high achievers are finding lasting love. Now you're talking, okay? Or 5 relationship challenges that high achievers face and how to fix them. You guys, are you starting to get the essence of this? Yes, no, maybe so. Another one, because I know it's always about the inner work that they need to do, whether they know it or not. But inner work mastery to manifest the perfect relationship for high achieving women. That would be. And guess what? People who are just starting out in the dating world, they're going to want to hear all of those topics. They're going to want to know because they're on a trajectory towards that. So you're not leaving anybody out with those topics. Yes. Awesome. Okay. Another example. So the one I just talked about, I just got hired to be the keynote speaker at a conference in 2 weeks, and I have no talk prepared. I need a talk prepared fast. Okay, so in this case, they're not looking for the 3-step plan to get started with public speaking. They're being hired to be a keynote speaker. They're beyond that, okay? They're successful already if they're being invited to be a keynote at a conference. So they would click off and tune out and click away, right? Stage 5 topics for somebody like this. The top 10 secrets to preparing a powerful keynote speech. 5 essential tips for professional speakers that will have organizations clamoring to hire you again. That would be more on the level of what these are looking for. Public speaking tips to crush your next keynote. Okay, so you guys getting it? The difference? And you want to be thinking of speaking to that level. And you think, but what about the people that are starting out? They're going to learn from this. They're learning from this. Another one. After 20 years in my current career, I'm ready to use my skills and talents in a completely different arena. You're not going to be putting content, attracting them with content that says the best way to find a new startup job. They've been 20 years in a career, okay? They are paying handsomely for it, and now they're looking to do something else. So a different topic would be making the 6-figure job jump to a new field. That would resonate more. Or leaving your corporate gig without a dip in revenue. That would be of interest. Or how to break into a new career at your current income level. You get the difference? Okay. I'm seeing yeses. I'm not sure what you're saying yes to, but I'm going to assume you're getting it. Okay. But you've got to be willing to shift the focus of your copy, your content, and your communication towards that stage 5 high-end client. And that means the topics, the themes, the messaging, live streams, blog posts, webinars. I keep saying this over and over. I really want to hammer it home so that you get it. And here is the truth bomb for you guys. I've said it before, but I want you to get this. Your high-end clients are in your audience already. They're there, but you haven't been attracting them because you haven't been speaking directly to them with your copy, your content, and your communication. What you have been putting out there is just not relevant to them. You've been ignoring them basically by not sharing content relevant to them, which means you've been repelling them, not attracting them. You haven't been sharing content relevant to them because of whatever reason, because this is where you've always started. You started out talking about beginners and doing beginners, and so therefore you just kind of stayed there. Maybe it's just been unconscious. It might be that you feel like you don't deserve to work with high-end clients, or you're not good enough, or some kind of worthiness issue, which can come up. Playing the comparison game can come up, imposter syndrome, all of those things. And I'm telling you right now, you are highly qualified in your zone of genius, right where you are, without, if you have any of those gremlins coming up, got to clean those out. But get those out of the way, you're good right where you are, all right? And so you just got to remember that your high-end clients can be a lot more successful than you are in a lot of areas in their lives. And you have your zone of genius that they don't have. Okay. They're successful at something, but there's this huge gap in areas where your zone of genius comes in. Right. So don't be shy about speaking to those higher level clients. Because they are out there and they're looking for your expertise and they're looking for your zone of genius. And they don't care if you don't know anything about their zone of genius. They don't care if you don't know how to make $50 billion. That's not what they're coming to you for. You get it? They don't care about that. What they care about is you got something they want that they don't have. So what about the beginners in your audience? I know a lot of folks say, I can't abandon my newbies in my audience. I can't just work with high-end clients. You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm not telling you to do that. Here's another truth bomb for you. When you won't abandon the beginners in your audience when you're focused on the high-end message, you attract them. But you attract the high-level ones, right? All of those in the different stages of your client spectrum, you'll still be able to work with you. You can enroll them. Because they're going to be the ones that are like, I want to be there. Okay. They're going to be the caliber of beginners that you want to work with, that you'll be attracting. Right. Yes. I think for me, finding the right language that attracts my high-end clients. Yeah. So you want to be thinking about that. And see this, by the way, as an opportunity, talking about, you don't have to walk away from you want to speak to the high-end ones, and you're going to attract caliber clients at every stage. All right. So that's why I want to say this, to see this as an opportunity for you and your clients to collectively grow and expand together. This is not you abandoning people. This is you inviting people to their next level of growth and expansion by you stepping into your next level of growth and expansion. So when you elevate your client, you level up your pricing, you step into your next level. You're literally calling your other clients or other people in your audience to their highest potential at the same time. And vibrationally, you attract higher caliber of people, right? And when you do this, you do it for them, and they're coming for you and with you. They want to work with you. This is not about you abandoning people. It's you saying, come with me on this journey. We're all leveling up together collectively. Okay? This is a beautiful gift that you're giving people. And it's an invitation to grow that you're giving your current clients right where they are. Okay? They're begging you to pull them into the next version of themselves. That's usually what we're hiring our coaches and mentors for. We want them to get us to that next level. This is what they want. Even if they're scared, even if they're not sure, this is ultimately what they want. They want to be inspired by you. They want you to pull them up. They want to be brought to the next level. And so you're inviting them to come with you. Come with you. You're not leaving them behind. Okay? You're inviting them into their next level. But if you're not stepping into your highest potential, then you can't be there to help them reach theirs. Make sense? So this is the bestest stuff ever. I get to grow and expand with my clients. I don't have to be the perfect know-it-all. Thank God for that. That's why I love coaching. I love coaching because I know, well, it sounds like this. Is that what you feel? No, that's not what I feel. I feel this. Oh, great. Perfect. I'm not wrong. They're not wrong. They just got clarity, right? So we're growing and expanding as well. The other thing is that your premium programs and services allows you to serve and give back in that way, because now you have the resources to do that. When you're working with high-end clients who can easily invest for the transformation that you provide them, then you have the resources to give back in the ways that you want to. You can have lower end challenges or webinars or things like that, so that you can really inspire those that are in the beginning stages. Some of them will be ready to start working with you. Some of them won't, but this is how you can give back. Just Facebook Lives like this in your communities, things like this, you're able to do. So I want to challenge you to boldly and unapologetically claim your high-end clients, claim who you really, really want to be working on at that deeper level, without fear, without scarcity, without the imposter syndrome, right? Driving your decisions. I want you to think about who is it that would light you up, the level of client that would just light you up to work with. And then with them in mind, you start speaking to that client, that level client, in all of your copy. You speak to that highest level in your divine client spectrum in everything that you do. Okay? I hope this has made sense. I hope I have I hope I've blown some minds in a way. I hope I've twisted things around for you to think of how you're doing things differently right now, and to start thinking at that higher level. And if you have just been so used to only working at a certain level, it takes some time to say, wow, what would it be like if I had somebody that was at a different level, and the next level, and the next level? What would those levels be? Okay, start playing with this, just putting it out there into the universe as a possibility, and then start watching for the evidence and the inspiration that'll start to show up for you as a result of that. And in the meantime, magnificent beings that you are, remember, no matter what, with every step you take, with every new insight, every aha you get, success is your only option. Big, big heart hugs, lots of love. Bye for now.